I would like to introduce to you our keynote speaker of the night, who is a proud Motortown gal who started her career as a French and Russian teacher. She was also a writer, magazine editor, and certified adult trainer. With over 3 decades of professional experience as a keynote speaker and fearless speaking coach, she has helped empower people overcome their nervousness and fear, and has helped thousands of professionals uncover their unique marketing voice. Everyone, please welcome our top motivational speaker of the year, Miss Marjorie Saulson.
Excuse me, I have to disagree with one thing that Stephanie said. All of her sides are good sides. So, here we are. And according to my favorite philosopher, Mark Twain, there are only 2 types of speakers: those who are nervous and those who are liars. Now, according to a more recent authority, namely Jerry Seinfeld, in a YouTube video of his, he talks about the fact that public speaking is the top of people's fears, even over the fear of death. And then he goes on to observe in his Jerry Seinfeld way, that means that at a funeral, more people would rather be the body in the box than the person delivering the eulogy. So, really, when you think about it, and I find, in my not so humble opinion, by the way, public speaking is not simply giving a speech to a bunch of people in an audience. It's been my experience that public speaking is any time you talk to someone other than yourself. I mean, I worked with a woman, for example, who had absolutely no fear of talking to thousands of people, but she had so much social anxiety that she would rather have a root canal than go to a networking event. And then there was this other gentleman I worked with who was very successful in his company and made all kinds of presentations and so forth and so on, but sat in dread through every single business meeting that somebody might ask him a question he couldn't answer, and he would feel like he had lost his authority status and his ability to progress in the company. I mean, that was his fear. Now, I must confess, I had my own. I was one of those people who had to check off every single item, all 3,432 on my to-do list, before I would pick up the phone and actually call somebody. Anybody relate to that one? So, what are we afraid of? I mean, there's no physical danger to public speaking, really, when you think about it. There's no tiger, there's no lightning bolt from heaven that's going to come down and get us. We are physically safe. What we don't feel is emotionally safe. And there are generally 3 big fears that get us. Number 1, we really worry about being criticized. The second thing is we are afraid of being rejected. And the third is that sometimes we are really petrified of failing and looking and feeling like an idiot. So, what do? To keep ourselves safe, we lock ourselves inside our comfort zone, where we feel safe. But the unfortunate part of that, we keep ourselves small, we keep our results small, and perhaps even worse than that, we fail to serve those who desperately need what we have to offer them. So, how do we get out of that? My mission this evening is to help you bust out of that jail of your comfort zone, wherever you're feeling uncomfortable speaking, so that you can share your message and your gifts and your greatness with the world. Now, public speaking, in my opinion, any kind of speaking, is like a 3-legged stool. You need all 3 legs, or else you're going to fall flat, right? The three legs I call are what, how, and allow. What is your message? How are you presenting it? And are you allowing yourself? Getting over those fear and nerves. Are you allowing yourself to present it? In our brief time, I'm just going to talk about the allow. There you are, ready to give a speech. Your knees are knocking, the butterflies in your stomach are not flying in formation, and you're feeling horrible and you don't think you're going to do it. But when you feel like this, I want to give you 3 strategies. Very simple strategies. You can think, boy, why didn't I think of that? When you're feeling nervous, where you feel it in your body. So these 3 strategies, you use your body to reassure yourself and get over those nerves and fear. The first thing that very often happens when people are nervous is we start breathing shallowly. It's kind of like your dog on a hot day. And the way you get over this is simply focus very intentionally on breathing slowly and deeply. So I like to do it to the count of 8. And I don't mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Breathe so deeply that your lungs push your ribs out and your stomach out so that you can feel your entire body filling with this wonderful life-giving air. And to really add to the power of that, place your hand on your heart. Our hands are tremendous sources of healing. And when you place your hand on your heart, it's like giving yourself a little metaphorical hug and saying, I love you, sweetie, it's fine, you're going to be fine. That's the first thing, breathing deeply. And by the way, keep doing it while you're talking. Your chest is an important resonating factor in your voice, and if you don't breathe before you speak, you start to sound like this. So if you don't like your voice, maybe you're not breathing when you're speaking. Second thing that happens is that our jaws tend to clench up. And when your jaws clench up, your voice gets like this too, because your mouth is also a resonating chamber. What do? You yawn. Now, I'm here to tell you without absolutely any modesty whatsoever that I am a world champion yawner. And the reason I know this for a fact is that when I was a little girl and I would yawn and forget to cover my mouth, my dear late mother of blessed memory would say, Mammoth Cave. So the yawn I'm talking about is not simply dropping your chin. It's doing what I call a mammoth cave yawn. And what is that, you may wonder? It's when you yawn from the hinge, from the back of your jaw, when you actually separate your back teeth. And when you look in the mirror and do this, you should be able to see all the way to your back teeth and every crown and molar and whatever you have in your mouth. And that will relax your jaw. And because your mouth is also a resonating space for your voice, it will also improve the sound of your voice. Now, the third thing that happens when you're nervous, and it doesn't matter if you've been drinking water all day long, is that your mouth gets dry and you think if you're going to start to talk, you're going to sound like a frog. Well, there is a very simple cure for this. And it turns out, when I share it with people, it turns out to be everybody's favorite trick. You simply rub your tongue on the roof of your mouth. You can create your own little puddle, as it were. You get your saliva going, and that takes care of the problem. So there's your 3 tricks. Breathe, yawn, rub your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Oh, and one last suggestion. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you and your speech are the only thing standing between your audience and their dinner, remember the 3 B's. Be brief, be memorable, be seated. Thank you very much.